Right, let's talk real estate. Zhann Jochinke here, COO of Property Monitor. Morning, Zhann.
Morning. I feel like I should say buongiorno after all the Italian lead-ins.
Quite right, too. Fritti, scampi, e Chianti. Right, so we've got your latest property report for January. Here's what I expected. Dubai property prices set new record in Dubai as momentum continues in the market. That's what I expected to read. That is not what I read. Instead, what I read is this. Dubai real estate market begins 2025 with the first price decline in over 2 years. Is the market starting to shift?
Controversial question, maybe.
Well, you asked it, mate, so go on.
So let me set the stage a little bit for it. So we're more than 4 years, about 51 months into our recovery cycle, so that growth and recovery phase of the cycle. Well into it. Last year, prices grew by about 16.5%. I was forecasting about 8 to 10%. The year before, they went up about 18.5%. Towards sort of Q4, we started to see prices go from this 2% or so increases to drop down to under 1%. And now we've had that first decrease since the summer of 22, prices falling by about 0.6%. That's only the fourth decline month that we've had in this entire cycle, right? So cycles can only go on for a certain period of time. What we're seeing now is at least some tapering off. I'm not calling that the market's going to crash and it's all falling down, but that rapid price growth that we've seen, those month-on-month records back to back to back, they're going to start to wane, I think, as we go forward.
Is this a blip on an upward cycle and you get them, or is this an inflection point?
I'm leaning more towards inflection point. Right?
Why?
We're 3 months in, right, to seeing this slowdown in there. 3 months for me is start to be indicative of a trend. So I think we're going to start to see, in previous cycles, you'd see that month or two here or there where it was slower, but this is starting to trend that way. Given the massive amount of sales we've had last year, 11 months out of 12 were records for sales last month. The only one that wasn't was April because of the rains. Still, with that being said, this January is a record month for transaction volumes. It's the prices that are starting to taper off. So I don't think we're going to see transaction volumes necessarily really decline a lot. They have started to moderate after a record month of 20,000 in October. We've seen them drop down to 14,000, 15,000. That's starting to moderate now. At the same time, we're seeing these prices start to slow or even plateau now. So going forward, I expect to see pretty much plus and minus sub 1% ranges for the next coming months, and probably overall growth throughout the year of sub 10%.
Okay, which is fine for any normal real estate market, but momentum and hype are such a big part of this Dubai market. And any real estate market, psychology, animal spirits are a big part. You can't forecast that, you can't model it, you can't map it, but what's your sense of how that might play out?
So you can only look at what's happened before. It's a good indicator of what may happen in the future. And every real estate market around the world is cyclical. It goes up and it goes down, and it cannot keep on a bull run forever. Sentiment is still very positive. The government's put so many initiatives in to drive economic growth and population growth. So whilst we're seeing record amount of sales, we've seen record amounts of population growth. Record amounts of launches are happening as well. 140,000 new residential units launched last year. Last month, 12, 13, 14,000 new units coming to market. Probably the same again this year. We're going to get to a point which tips every market over, and it's called hypersupply. That will come. It's unavoidable. It's nothing to be afraid of. What we're likely to see, though, is it be very gentle, I think. We're going to see some downwards pressure on pricing, a lot of relief across the market, particularly in the rental space in the coming years. Things just can't go on together no matter how positive things are. Can't just have, unless population really, really spikes, or people start doubling down, investing in 2, 3, 4 properties, that bull run has to slow down and come to an end.
Okay, let's segment the market then. You talk about hyper supply coming, but we've got to segment the market from affordable studios and apartments to mid-market to the upper market, and then the super luxury penthouses and villas on the palm. Where on this hyper cycle A hypersupply.
Yep.
A hypersupply. Where do you see the most hypersupply? Or
It will be villas and townhouses in almost any community. So I think that's going to be relatively well insulated going forward. When prices do shift and have some downwards pressure, you might see some people that were priced out previously now again migrate out to those villa and townhouse communities. The apartment space, by the sheer volume of what's happening in there, that's likely to be the biggest affected. And the biggest communities that will probably see that effect are the ones that have had the most launches. So your Business Bay, JVC, Azizi Venice, you've got massive amounts of supply coming in those areas in the coming years.
Zhann, good speaking to you. Appreciate your time this morning. Thanks very much indeed for joining us. The thoughts there of Zhann Jochinke. He is the COO of Property Monitor. Joined the conversation. Any thoughts on what Zhann has to say there? His report, just to recap, says that the Dubai real estate market began 2025 with the first price decline in over 2 years. Appreciate your time, Zhann.
Thanks, guys.